What's going on, my money mavens and moolah misfits? It's me, Joe Knows Money. For those of you who know me, welcome back. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Joe Wilson, better known as Joe Knows Money. And after 20 years as a top wealth advisor, I decided to retire in year 2020 at the age of 40 so that I could slow travel the world with my wife, kids, as well as my mom. And now it's my mission to give back and show others how they can achieve financial independence as well. And we do this by having fun, informative conversations, hence the title of today's talk, right? Which is, should you tell your fiance that you bought her a used ring, right? Now that's a big one, right? I mean, that's pretty juicy. And I can understand both sides, if you will, right? On one hand, you know, a person may be thinking to themselves, wow, I get to buy this person a ring of their dreams. They get to marry the person that they love, and I get to save some money in the process. So no harm, no foul, right? And then the other side of it, though, is that, you know, if you start out your marriage with financial deception, what is that going to mean for you all long term? What if she catches on to this occurring before your conscience catches up with you? Right? So this is a little bit of a minefield for you to consider, but it's a terrific exercise because it's important to know why we're even having this conversation, right? First and foremost, the thing that we know is that the average cost of an engagement ring in the United States is $6,000 a year. All right. And just to put that in perspective, 80% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. 60% of Americans can't afford a $1,000 surprise expense. So it just shows you how tough that amount of money is to come by. And quite frankly, even if you have it, it may be hard for you to come off of, right? Because that's a big amount of money. The other thing that we know is that the number one cause of divorce are arguments about money, right? So that tells us, and I can tell you firsthand from meeting with over 10,000 couples during my career, is that it is the number one argument that people have is money. And that means they're not having those very, very deep and important conversations about money before they get married. Hence the reason why a survey recently came out and it said that 1/3 of couples, there is some kind of financial infidelity involved in their relationship. So 1/3 of couples are experiencing financial infidelity, right? So let's be honest. How many of you even knew that you could buy a used ring like you could buy a used car, right? And certainly you can. And some of the most, one of the largest retailers in the world is Walmart, and they actually have a section of pre-owned luxury wedding and engagement rings. And there's also a very, very popular site that you may not have heard of, but they offer tremendous deals, and it's called I Do Now, I Don't. I Do Now, I Don't. So that's where you can actually buy and sell jewelry, and they act as a third party that verifies the diamonds are legit, all of those kind of things, right? So now you know, all right, this is how you're able to save up to 80% on a ring. Why is that so important to your financial independence? Well, if you think about this, if you had a ring that was going for the average price, $6,000 a year, or excuse me, $6,000 retail, and you go to one of these sites, let's say Walmart or the other site that I mentioned, and you're able to get it at a 80% discount. So you're paying somewhere in the neighborhood of $1,200. That means you have another $4,800 in which you can invest. And if you invest that money, right, over a period of 8 years, assuming it earns a 9% rate of return, your money would double. Okay? So we went from $4,800 8 years later to $9,600. We might as well round it up to a cool $10,000, right? To me, that is a very important conversation to have. It's a $10,000 conversation that you can look at your partner and have a conversation about your future. All right. Now, if you find that, it's difficult for you to have this conversation, the butt naked truth is this. If you can't talk about money, you'll definitely be talking about divorce. So here's the overall lesson. Life events like marriage and other things tend to get in the way of financial freedom. And really, it doesn't have to. You don't have to choose love or money. You can choose both love and money. But the important part of it is that you have to have the knowledge of how to enjoy luxury for less. Like, for example, getting the ring that your spouse wants without paying the full cost of it. And that way you can invest the money for your long-term financial freedom. The other thing it requires is for you to put your ego aside and have that conversation about money. And that real conversation can lead to some very important breakthroughs that will put you on the same path to financial freedom versus resisting each other. Okay? So if you like this video and you want to see more like them, please hit like and subscribe. And I'll see you later, alligator.